Oh my god, hey! Welcome back to my kingdom of stagey isolation. If you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Mickey Joe and I'm obsessed with all things theatre. Today we are in my presentation space because I'm going to be talking through everything we have learned from the two new In the Heights trailers.
In the Heights, here's all the details that we know. Here's what I worked out from the trailer.
It is a good week to be a theatre fan because they have just dropped two new trailers for the 2021 movie adaptation of the musical In the Heights. In the Heights is a really great musical. It won a bunch of awards when it was on Broadway. It provided awesome representation for a historically marginalized group of performers and creatives. And other than being the other main musical written by Hamilton writer Lin Manuel-Miranda, it's generally one of the lesser known shows. It doesn't have that same kind of broad, huge commercial appeal that Hamilton has. So hopefully having a film version of this is only going to gain the show more fans and more popularity. The film was meant to be released last year and was one of many casualties of the COVID-19 crisis and its impact on the arts. But not only have they confirmed that it will be announced this year, the release date for the UK has actually been brought forwards in line with the US release, and it's coming to us in June. Musical theatre fans tend to have a complicated relationship with movie musical adaptations, because even though movie musicals have existed historically as long as stage musicals have existed, there have been very mixed results in recent decades, shall we say. But there are some good signs so far. The casting for the film, including a lot of fresh new talent as well as original Broadway alumni from this musical, is very exciting. From the trailer we can see they're including multiple of the original songs, even though we don't know quite how many yet. But we didn't know that much about the film until they released these two new trailers. Now I've been through these, and frame by frame I'm going to show you what they have told us, who is going to be in the cast, which characters are being cut, which plots might be changing slightly, which songs they're including, all based on images from the trailers. I'm that good. It's worth saying, if you haven't seen In the Heights and you don't want spoilers, I am going to talk through almost all of the plots, though there will definitely be spoilers about the show and the characters in this video. If you don't want that, come back to it at a later time. But for now, let's get into it. So one of the trailers opens with this beach scene, presumably in the Dominican Republic. This is where the main character Usnavi, his parents have immigrated from. He talks a lot about going back there at some point, even though he's living in Washington Heights. We see him sat on a beach talking to some children. I don't know who these children are. This already, for fans of the show, has us confused. In the musical, he spends the entire show wanting to save up enough money, aspirationally, to move to the Dominican Republic. But right at the end of the show, he realizes that the community he really values is the one that he's come to grow up around in Washington Heights. So in the show, he decides to stay in Washington Heights, but we see him here definitely somewhere else. So I don't know what's going on. This may be a fake out. This may be just like a vacation and then they go back. I think this is designed to trick the audience from the beginning, make you think he did move there, but he actually didn't. We know that this is the beginning of the film because we then see him banging on his chair doing the sort of rhythmic introduction to the In the Heights song. So this is him singing the first song, In the Heights. We can actually see him singing it in this clip. That's how I know that that's what he's singing. In the trailer, they mash it up with 96,000 in a way that's very cool, but not what you're actually going to hear in the film. Behind him we can see man with pattern on shirt and lady with bag. I have identified them here and here in this large crowd scene, which means every time you see this in the trailer, Usnavi is there. This is the end of the In the Heights number. The other characters we see a lot in these trailers are Nina and Benny. We see various scenes with them, and I've sort of pieced together which songs they are likely to be singing. So Lin Manuel-Miranda has said that there will be a new song written for the film. I have a theory it might be a duet between Nina and Benny. Initially when I saw this frame, I thought perhaps they were singing the song that opens the second act when she's trying to teach him Spanish, but I am now inclined to think otherwise, and I will show you why. We see them doing this sort of dream sequence running over the side of buildings vibe, and it's not really something that goes with that particular song. I think it's very possible they've got a more lush romantic duet that happens here, a la Rewrite the Star's Greatest Showman. Also, if you want to think that this is them singing When You're Home, it's not. This is When You're Home. We see this a few times. He is singing at this point. You can't hear it in the trailer, but you can see it in his mouth. It kind of looks like he's singing the words When You're Home. This is them hopscotching through some children, which is also very in keeping with the When You're Home vibe, because he's showing her around the neighborhood that she used to grow up in. And her hair and her outfit here are the same here. You can also see chalk on the floor, so they haven't gone far. You see her looking wistfully at the George Washington Bridge. Now initially, I thought that this frame was from when she was going to be singing Breathe, because she has a lyric in Breathe, singing just me and the GWB asking Jeanina, what'll you be? And the GWB is the George Washington Bridge. But I think this is the end of When You're Home, because we see another frame where he is with her, same hair, same outfit, in front of the George Washington Bridge. This, I think, might be Breathe. This is how she looks in the beginning of the film. We see another clip of her here, talking to Usnavi, having just arrived back. He's wearing his beginning of the film outfit. She talks a lot in this song about the neighbours regarding her with pride, and you hear people singing backing vocals out of their windows as she passes. That's who that person is, I am guessing. This is a scene we see with her talking to Abuela Claudia. There's dialogue in this scene, as there is in much of the trailer, that has not come from the stage show. This is new for the film. Some other Nina frames that we see in the trailer, we see this with her hugging her father. He's holding a letter and something exciting has just happened. Her mother, Camilla, seems conspicuously absent from all of these trailer clips. I think her character has been cut from the film, making him a widowed father, which is another character motivation for why he is so intense and protective of his daughter. I think this is a flashback scene that we are going to see in Breathe of her getting her Stanford acceptance letter. I feel like she's made up to look a little bit younger here, and he's looking very excited. He, with his hair darker there, looks younger than we see in the rest of the trailer as well. We subsequently see this clip. See, his hair is already greyer at the temples than we see in the previous one. This is not an outfit we see her in any other scene in the trailer, so I'm not sure what this is, but she has a bag and a suitcase. Either this is another part of the flashback when she was leaving home to go the first time, or this might be the end of the film when he sells his cab business to pay her tuition and she goes back to Stanford to finish what she started. Another character we get to meet in the trailer is Vanessa. We see her here talking to Usnavi. Vanessa's character seems to have changed a decent amount in the trailer in various ways. She still works at Daniela's hair salon. We see her in this outfit outside the building that has Daniela's written on it. This, I assume, is the end of her song It Won't Be Long Now. She has this scene with Usnavi, which has a very different vibe to how we first meet them in the show. They're very flirty and playful in the show, and she seems almost oblivious to the fact that he's really into her. Here, it seems to be more of a cold, unspoken tension where she knows that there's something between them, but she's not really acknowledging it for whatever reason, and it's quite intense. The other change with Vanessa's character is we see that she has this secondary motivation in the film. In the show, she really cares more about just moving away to a better neighborhood and escaping this place where she's always felt trapped. In the film, she seems to want to become a designer. We see a lot of these sketches, and this is definitely her because we see another shot of her sewing things, okay? We see lots of fabric. She even has this moment where she's running through the streets and there's fabric coming over the tops of buildings. You see it here. I have no idea what song this is. It might be It Won't Be Long Now, or maybe she has an entirely different I Want song about wanting to break into the fashion business. We see her in a different outfit to the one that she was wearing when I thought she was singing the song It Won't Be Long Now here, and she's getting catcalled by some guy, which is something that happens normally in the song It Won't Be Long Now. So I'm not sure if this is still part of the song, if we're going to see her in a montage through several days in the same song. Next we see her here, same jewelry as before, but in a different outfit and seemingly in a different location. The way she's walking through, she's so singing a solo song here, but if it's not I Won't Be Long Now, I don't know what it is. Again, could be a different song written for her. We also get some other shots of Benny in the trailer. This is him working at Rosario's cab company, operating the dispatch. We see this shot, which I enjoy, of him dancing in the office while another person who's working there watches. This is so him singing Benny's dispatch. We also see him singing his verse in 96,000. In this clip, we actually see that that's what he's singing. He is holding a towel because they are on the way to this outdoor pool Lido area. We also have Usnavi singing his verse from 96,000 in the same outfits as before, and he's by the pool. From that, we can gauge that this is Benny singing his bit at the end of 96,000, and this is Vanessa singing her I'll Be Downtown. So all the cool pool splashy choreography you are seeing, that's from 96,000. We see a lot of this scene in this tunnel. This is Abuela Claudia. She's in this cool tunnel. I love this shot. And every other shot you're seeing in this tunnel in the trailer is from her song Paciencia y Fe. These are people from her past, from her growing up in Cuba before she moved to America. This seems like an amazing number because we have some other really cool moments as well. This is also the same characters wearing the same outfits. She's clearly walking through the streets of Washington Heights trying to rationalize everything that's happening with her, and all of this is going on behind her. I'm really excited to see this number. It looks awesome. So as we know from the stage version of the show, Abuela Claudia sadly dies, and this scene is them singing Alabanza while they are holding a vigil for her. Interestingly, We see Usnavi, we see the candles in the window here, so we know that's from this scene. He is watching from his window. He is not in attendance. I'm not sure why, but perhaps something has happened in the film to trigger this. In the stage show, he very much drives the mourning of Abuela Claudia and is very present in all of that. Some other characters we get to meet in the trailer. This is Daniela, Carla, and an as yet unidentified third member of their group. This is them right at the beginning in the number In the Heights. In the next shot, we see they are walking towards Usnavi's bodega. The only time they go there in the stage version of the plot is in that opening scene when they gossip and then they buy things from Usnavi. Interestingly, we see in the next shot behind them here is Daniela's salon. You can even see the moving sign because we know that they are relocating to the Bronx. And before you say to me, what if they're not keeping the relocating to the Bronx subplot in the film? I know they are because we see this shot of them in a car, moving vans. Carla, they are driving away, presumably at the end of the film. We see these ladies in the salon. I assume this is during the song No Me Diga, which makes me very excited. Thank God they're keeping that in the film. The other Daniela moment we see in the trailer. This is Daphne Rubin Vega, presumably starting to sing Carnival del Barrio. We see this guy drumming on the box that he's sitting on. In the show, she starts singing a cappella and then a random guy starts drumming to help her drum up some enthusiasm. Drum up some enthusiasm. That wasn't even deliberate. Another shot we see of Carnival del Barrio, we see Lin Manuel-Miranda. Everyone is looking up to him. I am assuming that he is singing the little bit of male dialogue that happens in Spanish in this song, which is very exciting. Arriba esa bandera! That bit. We see another shot of Usnavi being handed a flag. He sings, "I'ma fly this flag that I got in my hand" later in the song, so we know that that's what this number is. I also like that we see this shot of him holding hands with Vanessa. Everyone is reacting. I'm assuming this is when he's just said, "Vanessa, forget about what could have been, dance with me one last night in the hood again," and everyone's like, oh! This is Graffiti Pete. We see him doing graffiti and getting chased away from the bodega by Usnavi. Did I say bodega? It's a bodega for ghosts. We see this other clip of Sonny talking to Nina saying they're trying to get rid of all the dreamers. I have a theory that what he's actually talking about is immigrants brought to America under the Dream Act and sort of new government coming in, revoking that and possible deportation. We also get to see shots of the writer Lin Manuel-Miranda's cameo as the Piragua guy. I love that he's in this film. I love that this is the role he's playing. It's such an adorable character that I really enjoy in the stage version. We get to see Christopher Jackson playing Mr. Softy. Some background to this. Chris Jackson was the original Benny in the original Broadway cast of In the Heights. He is one of Lin Manuel-Miranda's closest friends and has been involved in most of the major projects he's worked on. Piragua guy talks a lot about Mr. Softy trying to shut him down and competing for his business, but in the end, what actually happens is Mr. Softy's truck breaks down and Piragua guy capitalizes on that for his business. It's a hilarious moment, and that I think is what we see happening here. One character I don't know from the stage version is this financial advisor guy, I think, based on what we hear in the trailer. Usnavi is meeting with him and talking about trying to make something happen financially. Whether that's selling his bodega, whether that's trying to move back to the Dominican Republic, I do not know. It's certainly a plot change from the musical. We also see some shots of this club scene. We see Vanessa dancing with a bunch of men when they're doing their Vanessa, let me get the next one. As we know from the show, the club night scene then turns into a blackout, which then turns into look at the fireworks. I'm assuming that still happens in the film, not only because it prompts Carnival del Barrio because they have no power, but also because we see these fireworks. We also see this scene where everyone has sparklers and we're seeing this guy breakdancing on the street, which is also very familiar of the In the Heights stage show. This breakdancing moment with the lights is a little bit of an Easter egg to the original choreography in the production. We see this shot of Vanessa and Usnavi kissing, presumably at the end. She's wearing yet another different outfit. I am assuming this happens plot-wise where they would normally sing the song Champagne, but for whatever reason I don't imagine they will actually be singing the song. I think it will probably just be a scene. One of the trailers gives us a lot of scenes from the very end of the show. When we see him wearing this yellow top, this is when he's about to do the very last part of the show. And then we see him sat in his apartment. There are packed boxes and a suitcase there, so he is ready to pack up and go. We see him walking out of his door and we see him actually singing There's a Breeze Off the Hudson. We know that these are the first lines of the last song in the show. In this last song in the show, the hydrants get opened and everyone dances in the street with all of the water. That's what I am assuming this is. There's another shot of him as well, wearing the same yellow t-shirt that he's wearing in this last song, walking towards his bodega. We can see it's boarded up here, presumably as a result of the looting that happened in the wake of the blackout. The grate here is up. We can see that it's not down. In the show, what motivates him to stay is Sonny pulls this grate down and he's hired Graffiti Pete to create a mural of Abuela Claudia as a tribute. This is what reminds Usnavi about his sense of community there and his family and his memories there, and that he can't leave this place. I'm really hoping they keep this in the film. It's one of my favourite moments in the show, but because this grate is up here, we can't quite see behind him to know whether or not they're still doing that. But the fact that the grate is up, I find that suspicious, that the grate would be up for any other reason than to pull it down as a reveal. And that is everything I've been able to work out from these two trailers for In the Heights. If they drop any more content before the film, I will be happy to comb through that and let you know what else we can learn. But in the meantime, that gives us a sense of which characters we're expecting to see, which characters we think might have been cut, which songs we reckon will be in the film, and what changes to the plot we might be expecting to see. I'm still really excited for this. I'm pretty happy with all of the changes they seem to have made. I feel like it's in great hands with a really great director, and I'm just excited to see what they do with it. There's some cool looking ensemble musical moments I cannot wait for. There's some really exciting casting. I think it's going to be awesome. Let me know your thoughts on these two new In the Heights trailers in the comment section down below. And if you've worked out anything else from the trailers that I haven't talked about, please share your knowledge with the group. We cannot wait to hear it. Thank you so much for watching today's video and indulging me in my super sleuthing. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe to my Stagey YouTube channel, where there is plenty more Stagey content as well as other videos coming very soon. If you really want to support me as a content creator, you can also head over to my Patreon at patreon.com/Mickey Joe Theatre and support me for various membership prices on that website. I hope that everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey day.
For 10 more seconds, I'm Mickey Joe Theatre. Oh my god, hey. Thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!